Hello, all. Happy Friday. Hope everyone has had a productive work week, class week. Well, my guess is you're on vacation, but for those working, hopefully it's a productive work day to reel in the Christmas season and weekend ahead. Um, as Christmas inches its way closer and closer, hopefully you find yourself in a peaceful state where there's only joy and family and friends and beautiful things that make this world go round. So, as an update, I would like to inform everyone that I did sit for my USMLE Step 1 examination 2 days ago. Um, actually wanted to touch up upon a topic that crossed my mind um, in the day after the exam. A little bit today, but not too much. Just the power that the human being has uh, to really doubt of everything that has been granted and everything that has been awarded. Um, I'm very fearful of what God has in store because only He knows, and I am humbly always praying for an increased faith, and with faith comes an increased self-esteem. I haven't always been the one that is very secure of my knowledge of my capabilities to fill an exam, and especially when I stepped out of this exam, um, over 322 questions of distributed in blocks of 46 questions, an hour each. It amounts to about 8 hours. So for an exam of this magnitude, I felt inclined to allow that monkey on my back to pinpoint the questions that were experimental, the questions that I may not have touched upon um, with much depth in my studies. But there's always a side of you that will pinpoint the weaknesses. I feel that, well, now more than yesterday or the day before, that we have a duty to pick apart that criticism, that self-destruction, and focus on everything we have accomplished. And thank God I was able to fill out most of the exam, I would say, with security and with a firm foundation. But like I said, it's like you take the exam or you take an interview or just an encounter with a friend and you just focus in on anything that wasn't productive, that wasn't according to your plans. I put that in quotations because what are your plans? It's very fickle. It's something that isn't set in stone, and the only thing that is set in stone is the love of Christ, and that is the only invitation that I want to really drill into my mind and heart at the end of the day. The fact that I don't have to ask for it; it's always there. So that's a knowledge that I feel we as humans have to learn to really incorporate into our everyday lives. I'm still learning. We all are. But it is what it is. I mean, this life is such a blessing, and the people you meet, and that in itself is, gives me so much hope for the future. Um, because I know that everything is accounted for. There's nothing to worry about, nothing to stress, and yeah, I say that over this video log, but sometimes I doubt, many times I doubt, and I'm still growing. So I just pray for the patience and for the ability to keep growing in faith and as a human being. Okay, so that's it. But thank you for your support and your prayers. and I'll keep you posted on my license as a United States physician. Okay, so I wanted to share this with you, an excerpt from this little book, um, Brother in Christ, from my youth group in Santo Domingo, gave it to me before I left, and he dedicated it to me because he knew that I was basically jumping around. I was in New York, and I had my set youth group there. But when I came to Santo Domingo to study medicine, I didn't really have a place that I felt comfortable in, a youth group. And I tried some, and they were more for adults. And I came across this youth group, Rebaño Joven, en La Anunciación de María, Mary's Annunciation in Santo Domingo, and I fell in love with it. It's where we celebrated the 9 days of my father's passing, and yeah. So the book in itself is just based on many little chapters on how to imitate Christ, and I recently picked it up again. He gave this to me in 2011. Um, but this is a very special book, so this goes out to him. May God continue to bless him, and so he can form part of his army, and we're all part of his army. We're his soldiers. So yes. Okay, so so I just wanted to touch upon a bit um, about knowledge, about knowing. It's a very human aspect of us to know more and more. Not only to be able to defend ourselves, given the situation in which someone questions what we know, or just an opportunity to bring up something interesting, but also to feel good about ourselves, to feel smart. No one wants to feel inferior to anybody else, and I think that's the initial drive that sparks wanting to be better than everybody else, that wanting to suppress what they know for your sake. And I feel that that's something that is problematic, because who are we fooling? It's at the end of the day, we're stepping on others to feel bigger, to feel knowledgeable, more knowledgeable. But it's sad, because we do fall into it in the criticism of others, and knowing isn't exactly what we're going to be judged on, I think. So this just touches upon that, and I wanted to share it with you because it's what I've been feeling for the past couple of days. Just the transformation in me, and learning to trust the process, trust God. I did the best that I could on the exam. I made sure I didn't leave anything blank, and I pressed end, which was the very last thing that I could do after I took a short survey of the question stems, and I did what I could. So we'll see what happens. I pray that everything will turn out according to what He has in store for me. And I love Him. I do. I'm madly in love with God, and His plan with me is exciting. So His plan with you is exciting too. Don't feel jealous. Okay. It's from chapter 2 of the book. Actually, I'm going to start with a quick excerpt. This is going to be a pretty long video, so whatever. Hang in there. I'm going to start with a quick excerpt from chapter 1. Okay. La Imitación de Cristo is the name of the book, like I said. ¿De qué te sirve discutir con complicados razonamientos sobre la Trinidad si no eres humilde, con lo que no agradas a la Trinidad. No son las palabras complejas las que hacen santo ni justo al hombre, sino la vida virtuosa, la que lo vuelve agradable a Dios. This is my favorite part. I was thinking of translating the scripture quickly in the description box, but I'll translate this for as like right now because it's beautifully written and it's very applicable, I think. Prefiero sentir el arrepentimiento antes que saber definirlo. That's pretty sweet. In English, it would be, I prefer to feel remorse, regret, before knowing how to define it. So it just goes into play, it takes into play just the knowledge, the theory behind it, behind everything really, and how we should sometimes not focus on the theory and put practice into play, because what good is, like I always quote from Dan Millman, Way of the Peaceful Warrior, when he says, what good does it do you to go to church on Sunday if you're indifferent to those who need you on Monday? So it is all about action. And yeah, it's important to be well read, to read the Bible, to immerse your lifestyle, your quotidian lifestyle, in God's Word. But it has to be put into play. It has to be put into action, and I pray for that as well. It's just a concordance between what you read and what's the saying? Practice what you preach. There it is. Si supieses de memoria toda la Biblia y los dichos de todos los filósofos, ¿de qué te serviría todo sin el amor y la gracia de Dios? Vanidad, pura vanidad. Eclesiásticos capítulo 1. Basically that says, if you knew from memory the entire Bible and all the sayings of all the philosophers, what good would it do you without the love and grace of God? Vanity, pure vanity. That's from Ecclesiastic chapter 1. So basically, it's I just wanted to touch upon that before reading what I really wanted to read. That in essence, we are part of a team, and we do always have to put our best foot forward and trust that God has the reins. What I wanted to share with you was it's a little bit from chapter 2, which is humildad para conocerse, having humility to know yourself. Todos los hombres naturalmente desean saber, mas ¿qué aprovecha la ciencia sin el temor de Dios? Por cierto, mejor es el rústico humilde que sirve a Dios que el soberbio filósofo, que dejando de conocerse, se preocupa por el curso del cielo. El que se conoce bien conoce sus límites, y no busca las alabanzas humanas. Si yo tuviese toda la ciencia del mundo y no viviera la caridad, ¿de qué me aprovecharía delante de Dios, que me juzgará según mis obras? Que no te domine el deseo de saber, porque en ello encontrarás un gran estorbo y profundo engaño. A los eruditos les gusta ser visto y tenidos por tales. Muchas cosas hay que, si las sabes, poco o nada aprovechan a tu alma. Y muy necio es el que en muchas cosas entiende, pero no las que importan para la salvación. Las muchas palabras no sacian el alma, solo la vida buena le da consuelo, y la conciencia pura causa gran confianza en Dios. Cuanto mayor y profundo sea tu saber, tanto más gravemente serás juzgado si no vives con santidad. Por eso no te ensalces por alguna de las artes o ciencias, mas ten cuidado por el conocimiento que de ellas se te ha dado. Si te parece que sabes mucho y entiendes muy bien, ten por cierto que es mucho más lo que ignoras. No te enorgullezcas por eso. Romanos capítulo 11, versículo 21. Mas confiesa tu ignorancia. ¿Por qué te quieres poner por encima de otro, habiendo muchos más doctos y sabios en la ley que tú? Si quieres saber y aprender algo provechosamente, desea que no te conozcan ni te estimen. El verdadero conocimiento y desprecio de sí mismo es la más alta y profunda inteligencia. Es una muestra de sabiduría y perfección el pensar siempre bien y grandes cosas de los demás, y no con uno mismo. Si ves que alguno peca públicamente o comete culpas graves, no te juzgues mejor que él, porque no sabes cuánto podrás perseverar en el bien. Todos somos débiles, pero a nadie tengas por más frágil que a ti. Okay, so that was it. I'm learning more about myself, and like I said before, it's a transformation of growth. I mean, yeah, when we're little, self-esteem is in our high school years. Self-esteem is what we feel keeps us waking up every morning and facing the bullies and the people that talk bad about you and the people that spread rumors, and it's something to face. It's something to grow alongside, because self-esteem is what earthly keeps us facing each day. But on a divine scale, God is what makes us wake up in the morning. He is what makes us put our best foot forward, and I trust Him enough to allow myself to be okay with my imperfections. No one is perfect. He is, and I'm just so blessed to account with His grace and His protection. So that's what I pray for you today, that you may find that peace of mind, whatever it is you're going through, whatever struggle or downpour that you may feel is overbearing or weighing you down even more. Just feel okay with the outcome even before we can humanly see it, because trust that it's all taken into consideration and nothing goes unseen or unheard. So that's it for today. A very long video, I know. It'll probably take like 30 minutes to upload, but whatever. I ain't got nothing but time. I wish you all the best in the world. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, blessings, and take care. God bless.